Welcome back to Gardening with Green. Today I am going to be planting some backup seedlings. I only have a couple of fruits germinating in my garden outside, so I just want to have a couple backup seedlings just in case they don't sprout, because it has been like cold and rainy here in Ohio. And the soil has to be at least 70 degrees, so we had a couple of 70 degree days, but for the most part it's been in between like 60 and 65. So I'm going to plant some extra honeydew seeds from Seed Geeks. I love Seed Geeks. They have some really good seeds. You can get them on Etsy. And I'm going to plant some more cantaloupe because I only got one cantaloupe out of 8 growing out there. And I have some Crimson Sweet watermelon seeds that I used from last year's watermelons that I grew. So I have some Jubilee watermelon out in the garden as well, but I planted all 8 of those seeds from Back to Nature's garden that I ordered from. So they only sent me 8 seeds. So hopefully I get at least 3 or 4 out of those seeds that I planted outside, because I don't have any backup. So I'm not sure what I'm going to plant in this 4th one. If probably sugar baby watermelons, or I have a couple of different watermelons inside here that I might choose from, but hopefully those Jubilees sprout. But for the most part, this is going to be Crimson Sweet, Cantaloupe, and Honeydew, and then I'll let you guys know what I'm going to plant here shortly. I have my water here, my purified water, and these are 42 millimeter peat pellets. It's basically pellets that's filled with peat moss. Peat moss is really good for root stimulation, proper drainage. So, and it's just like a little neat way to keep your seedlings separated and to make sure that you protect the root system, because some plants don't like for the root system to be disturbed. So once these, put them in here and you add the water to it. And it takes like about 10 minutes or so. And they soak up the water and they expand. Then you'll be able to plant the seeds. So I got my water in here. And I'll be back shortly when the peat pellets absorb the water. And then I'm ready to plant my seeds. I'll be back shortly. Welcome back, everybody. And as you can see, my peat pellets has soaked up all the water that I put in this container. I had to fill up that 16-ounce bottle twice to get enough water for these pellets to expand all the way, and they have enough water in them. You just want to make sure that they're soft and that they have a lot of water in them, but not soaked. Like when you squeeze it, no water should come out of them. So as long as they're like really damp and soft. And as you see, it grew twice the size. So I believe this is like an inch to an inch and a half of peat moss in here. So yeah. Okay, and the watermelon I decided to grow instead of the sugar baby is the Black Diamond watermelon. And I got this, as you see, from Seed Geeks. Seed Geeks has really good quality seeds. And like I say, you can get them at Etsy. They're not sponsored, but I really stand by Seed Geeks. They have like an 80% germination rate, which is really good. They send you a decent amount of seeds, and their seeds are reasonable. They always have deals on their seeds. So this is one of the brands that I like to go to, Seed Geeks. So we're going to do the Black Diamond watermelon. Okay, so as you can see, the peat pellets, they got these little holes in there. You can already, have a nice placement for your seeds right in the middle. And I recommend only doing 1 seed per peat pellet, but I always do 2. I always drop 2 seeds in a hole no matter what I'm planting. And then I just take the strongest seedling, and I use the strongest seedling, and you can always just, cut out that extra seedling that you're not using. So these are big enough to have 2 seedlings in them though. But, 1 is only what you're supposed to put in here per pellet. But We're gonna put 2 in here just to have a little couple extra ones in here. Okay, I just planted 1 over there, and I'm just gonna plant 1 on this other side over here. And whatever the strongest seedling is, that's the one I'm gonna use. I have so many seeds, so you know. I got a neighbor over here where I just moved to recently, and they have some nice pretty plants out. So you know, you can always give somebody a seedling that might want to grow if you have extra, but it's always to have more seedlings than you need, because you never know. I was so excited about the gardening season. I planted my seeds in ground, and this was the first time I've ever planted in ground. I've always planted in pots because of where I lived, so I was able to till the yard. So as soon as I got done tilling it and getting some of the weeds out the way, I just went ahead and started planting seeds. But it's still kind of nippy out here in Ohio. We've been having a lot of rain. You know, April showers bring May flowers. So it's been like, you know, real rainy and cold. So most of my seeds have sprouted outside though, but it's just a couple of them that's just lagging, and I know it's because of the temperatures, because they like that 70 degrees. So I'm just gonna do me some backups just in case, you know, better safe than sorry. And I'm gonna do my cantaloupe next. This is Hale's Best Jumbo cantaloupes. So I'm just gonna put 1 on one side and 1 on the other. Cover it up with the pea moss. Yeah. I really like gardening. Most of these seeds like to be planted like a 1/4 inch, some a 1/2 inch, some an inch. You have to just read the back of the pack of the seed that you're planting. Or I always just look at the size of the seed, and I try to just bury them within that size, you know, and just cover it up at least about a 1/4 of an inch to a 1/2 an inch in the soil. So, or I always use my fingertip, and I don't ever go past that first line if they real small, like pumpkin seeds. I just go to the second line, like that's like a 1/2 an inch, an inch. I always just use my fingers really. And I'm putting 2 seeds in here as well for the cantaloupes, because I just want to make sure that I got enough seedlings, and just for a nice little backup plan. It was kind of hard to do that with pots, so I'm just taking advantage of the space I got. I know when everything starts sprouting, I'm gonna really see how much space that I got left, and I'm gonna be able to, you know, fill some spaces that I got that's empty. All right, I got the crimson sweet, the cantaloupe. Now I'm gonna plant some more honeydew. I got 4 pellets. I'm gonna put just 1 in like 2 of them, and then 2 of them is gonna have 2 seeds in it. I ain't had that much that many honeydew seeds, so I just want to plant half of them just in case something goes wrong, at least until I get more. Or I get a honeydew. Once you get a honeydew, you can use them seeds like I did with my crimson sweet. I ain't have to buy no crimson sweet watermelon seeds or no sugar baby, because I had some from last year, and I just took the seeds out of that watermelon, out of the biggest ones and the best ones that I had out the harvest. Even though the deer messed up my harvest last year, I was still able to get a couple of crimson sweet and a couple nice size sugar babies, and I just made sure I saved those seeds for this year. That's how you keep from buying seeds every year. When you grow peppers, you can grow tomatoes, everything that has a seed. Basically, you can use that same seed to grow that fruit. Or I think apples are the only one I heard of where the seeds out of that apple don't taste like the actual apple that you ate. But I got some peach seeds and some mango seeds that I'm gonna try to grow. But for the most part, like I was saying, peppers, tomatoes, watermelons. Um, when you grow cilantro and they go to seed, when you grow any kind of flower or plant that go to seeds, you can always use those seeds for your next year's growing season. And these are my black diamond. This last one is going to be the black diamond watermelon. As you see, I only got 5 seeds because I only got 10. So when I buy some more, I'll be comfortable using the whole pack. But right now, I want to at least make sure that I'm able to save a couple seeds because you never know. At least until I get a harvest out of one of the melons. And then after I get my harvest out of one of the melons, I'm cool because I already have some seeds. I just don't like to keep buying stuff over and over again when it's unnecessary. If you don't have to buy it over again, don't. Save your money. Alright. These are my last 2 black diamond watermelon seeds that I'm putting in here. So the plants that the fruits and vegetables that I doubled up on, I'm gonna take the strongest seedling. Or if I see a space where something else can grow, I'll put it in the ground and then I'll just have an extra plant. But never can have too much food and fruit. So here are my peat pellets, my little backup seedlings for my garden outside. This right here is a container that I had when we went to, I think we went to Logan's, went out to eat one night. And you know how you bring your little doggy bag home, you got food left. We had some rolls, so I just saved this container, washed it out real good, and I used it for a little greenhouse. So as you can see, it got some little holes right here. Just a good way to recycle containers, you know, versus just throwing them away all the time. You can use them for stuff like this. So this is going to be my little greenhouse for my backup seedlings. I'm going to throw my little labels on here so I remember what's what, even though I remember. But, you know, how we get sometimes, we get older, you know, the memory goes. But I'm going to go ahead and label the container. And then when I see some germination, I'm going to give you guys a video. I'm going to sit these outside on the porch so they can get some of that good sunlight, and I'll holler at you guys on the next video. Okay, I have labeled my container: crimson sweet watermelon, cantaloupe, honeydew, and black diamond watermelons. I was initially going to sit them outside on the porch, but I think I'm going to leave them inside to germinate. So it takes normally like about 7 to 10 days for them to germinate. If you got a really good seed, it'll really germinate in like 7 or 8 days. So we're going to see. I'm pretty sure I got some good seeds because I got them from Seed Geeks and Back to Nature. So like I said, they got a real good germination rate. So I'll be giving you guys an update in in about a week or so once I see some germination from the seeds. And I'm going to leave these in the house where it's a little warmer at so they'll germinate faster. And then I'll give you guys a video when I decide to place them outside in the yard. Have a good day.